You need to build trust on your Amazon account to, and how to do that, to sell such products whole year, right? And in Q4, Amazon will allow you to sell toys, for example. But if you never sell toys and you decide to start selling them on Q4, Amazon gave this category for you no matter what.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to AMC Pathfinders Beyond PPC. My guest today is Oleg Kuzmenkov. He's the founder and CEO of Seller Assistant, and this is a tool and platform designed for wholesale arbitrage, drop shipping, and it helps you automatically spot thousands of high-margin, best-selling products and quickly scan and analyze your supplier's wholesale products to list profitable products that you can find and sell on Amazon. Oleg, is that a fair assessment rundown of the tool?
Yeah, it's everything correct. Thank you so much. Hi, Brent. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Brent, for having me on your show. It's a pleasure for me to be here and tell you a story about online arbitrage and wholesale and explain how it works.
Yeah, and thanks for jumping on. I mean, we got a lot of questions for you because this is something I know very little about. So I'm looking forward to your education of me, but also the audience and anyone watching this in the future. And yeah, we met in Poland this year, didn't we? Was it like February? So, almost a year ago. We're recording this very late 2024.
Well, I believe so. We met in the Amazon Business Know-how in Warsaw, right? And you and me were speakers at that great event. So that's how we met each other. And finally, we on the show, right?
After a bit of back and forth and some other collabs. So it's been fun. It's been fun. Let's start off. I mean, the first thing is, like I mentioned at the top of the episode here, I know so little about wholesale, retail arbitrage, this area of Amazon, because as someone who's run like an ads agency, we mostly have focused on people doing FBA and like private label, right? That's been the model for many years. And now we work with a lot of like brands. But I know from seeing it on YouTube videos, seeing it online, that the retail arbitrage, the wholesale, this is still actually huge on Amazon, like huge, like thousands of people, maybe tens of thousands are still doing this and making great money and have thriving businesses. So can you educate me a bit about like the state of retail arbitrage and wholesale these days? Like what's going on in this space?
So let's start from the defining approach on selling on Amazon. If you do online arbitrage and if you do wholesaling, you resell existing products on Amazon. The private label is opposite. You create your own product and you try to grow your sales, your own product, right? And selling your own product, you invest hardly in your product, in your product reviews rating, right? You constantly improve it. You test pictures, you test titles, description, you run advertising on Amazon. If you resell existing products, you skip this step of the journey, right? You just find best-selling products on Amazon. You consider competition, product history, and many factors, and decide to source this product from the supplier and bring it to Amazon to resell. In this case, you don't need to invest your time and money in product itself. I mean, in reviews or product itself, because you cannot do that. You can only resell it because it's not your product. You resell someone else's brand, right? But what you can do is to acquire as much product as you can and resell them. So private label sellers have few products in their inventory. Resellers who do online arbitrage and wholesale, they have 100 and even 1,000 products in their inventory, and they work with inventory. They do ABC analysis to figure out what products generate sales, what products just lock your money in the inventory, and they try to rid of them and replace it with good selling products.
Right, turnover is important. So is it fair to say, Oleg, that like with FBA, the focus is really on optimization and a steady incremental improvement, whereas wholesale or RA, it's really about scale and finding as many SKUs as possible and understanding the math behind each one of them really intimately.
Yeah, it's true. And in Wholesale, you do your business optimization, but you optimize your supply chain, you optimize your costs on preparation, shipping, etc., and you optimize your inventory and even suppliers. For example, you can analyze your suppliers. One supplier generate you hundreds, another one thousands, and third one 10,000, $20,000 per month, and you decide where to route your money and where to buy your product. Because main problems in reselling is lack of financing. You have a lot of products to resell on Amazon, but you need to figure out which investment, which suppliers, which product will make you more money. And
Because it's
it's
a large
exactly,
upfront investment
yeah,
to get all that inventory, right? It's
yeah,
that way. It's kind of similar to FBA because in FBA you're putting down orders for a minimum 10, 20, 30, 40,000 US dollars to ship them something over from Asia or get it manufactured domestically. So it's similarly a massive investment. So Wholesale and RA has the same difficulty with
yeah.
financing, is what I'm hearing.
But speaking, you said the similar like FBA, but Wholesale and arbitrage is FBA as well. FBA is like fulfillment by Amazon. It's like
Right. No, you're
channel
totally right.
description.
You're
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
right. That's a really good distinction. They're both FBA, but let's call the other one
Reselling
owned
and
brand or private, let's call it. Yeah.
okay. And here we need to figure out what is the place of retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and wholesale in reselling on Amazon. From my perspective, I see like retail arbitrage is a starting point in selling on Amazon, like in online arbitrage as well. And wholesale is like where you grow or when you figure out how to sell on Amazon, where you expand your business. The main difference between retail arbitrage and online arbitrage is how physically you source your products. Retail arbitrage is about shopping products by yourself in physical stores. You just go to physical store and find product on sale, scan them, calculate the profitability, and buy all you can bring, to your car, for example, and then you prep them and send to Amazon. Online arbitrage is the same, but you do it from in front of your laptop without visiting any stores, and there is a room for scaling because if you do online arbitrage, you physically cannot visit 10 stores per day, right? You need to hire someone, but in this case, it can be unprofitable, for example. Doing online arbitrage, you can hire people who can help you, like people who source product, research products, searching for products for you, who buy products for you, and online arbitrage can be scaled. Yeah, you buy products from retailers, right? On sales, you use credit cards with cashback, be frugal, etc., to get cashback on them, and it's your extra source of income, like because cashback
Oh,
services.
that's interesting. Wait,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
let's touch on that briefly. So you're saying a lot of the sourcing that people do, they'll use credit cards, and Honey is a browser extension that has like coupons and stuff, right?
yeah,
If I
yeah, yeah.
understand properly. Okay, and then there's another one you mentioned, I don't know, but like those are ways to basically purchase but get cash back. So you're kind of like reverse cash flowing the investment of inventory. That's very interesting. You're able to float it for a longer period of time, but also getting money back on it. And actually, you make me think of something else when you mentioned retail arbitrage, which is YouTube videos I saw, many years ago where people are going to Walmart or Target and they're looking at products that are on massive clearance and they're selling them for like nothing. And then
Yeah.
they'll go and they'll buy everything and they'll load up their car or multiple cars, these big American cars, right? And then they drive and they prep it and they send it into Amazon and they sell it there and they make, $3, $4 on each one at scale. So that's like you said, something that's not very easy to scale. But if you have additional tools that help you figure out all that math, which is necessary to see if it's going to work as a business model, then you have an advantage. So that gets to the question, which is like Seller Assistant as a tool, as a plugin. So how does it help these people? Now that we've kind of established what RA is, what OA is, what wholesale is, how does
Yeah.
it help these folks?
It mostly helps people who do online arbitrage and wholesale. Speaking about extension itself, it's made for online arbitrage people, online arbitrage sellers, and it appears on Amazon product page next to product picture title, and it appears on search pages and seller storefronts, and it helps you to analyze product and figure out if you're going to source for it or not. And doing arbitrage, you need to make the decision. You need to find if you can sell it, the product. I mean, do you need to provide some authorization letters or invoices to start selling the product, or it's open for you and you
Right.
can list
And
right now,
correct me
right?
if I'm wrong, Oleg, but is that called gating? Like if
Yeah.
if the product is gated or not gated, right? So it's Amazon, one of their ways to like kind of protect a listing, but you're saying this helps you understand, is it gated? Is it not gated? What kind of, permission slip do I need to get from Amazon to be able
Yeah.
to sell on here?
It's true. Then you
Okay.
need to figure out if it's profitable, if it's generating sales, right? You need to take into account competition. You need to take into account product size, fees, etc. You need to know about any red flags, like, for example, multiple products cannot be sold in summer. Hazmat products usually ship to a special warehouse, and you pay for extra delivery, separate car which bring your products to hazmat warehouses. It's like very expensive, and also need some, enrollment of your seller account to this program. Oversized products, I mean, it's not a term anymore because there are no oversized classification right now, but the big products stored in separate warehouses, and if the product is so big, Amazon ask you to bring it to special warehouse, which can be somewhere in the United States in the middle of nowhere. So
We have a lot of those places in the US. Yes.
yeah,
Warehouses in the middle of a place that doesn't have anything to see except for a lot of flat plains. Good for shipping, perhaps, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's really
also
interesting. So one thing I took out of that is that there's also accounts that are, people are using for this that have certain things ungated. So those accounts themselves are valuable, right? So if I'm a
yeah.
seller that's doing wholesale or RA, I have an account that's ungated for several different categories and things. I've heard of this before. People talk about, oh, there's an account for sale, which I think is probably against Amazon TOS, but I've seen it happen in many groups on like Telegram and like Facebook and stuff over the years. But they'll say, oh, it's ungated in this category. That's what that means, right? You're able to sell in those
Yeah,
categories with
it's
that
true.
account.
Some categories like toys and games are gated for Q4 because it's like very risky for Amazon to allow to sell toys and games in high season when everyone shopping for toys for their kids. And just imagine if someone starts selling something inappropriate, like counterfeit products or something like that.
Right.
So you need to build trust on your Amazon account to, and how to do that, to sell such products the whole year, right? And in Q4, Amazon will allow you to sell toys, for example. But if you never sell toys and you decide to start selling them on Q4, Amazon gave this category for you, no matter what.
Yeah, that's valuable information
Yeah,
right there. Someone watching this might take a lot away from just that one piece of information.
yeah.
That's really nice.
And what about selling available accounts for selling, right? Selling products, you build trust. You keep, selling record, and if Amazon see you sell good products, you have no refunds, no claims, Amazon the trust is you growing trust, right? And Amazon start open gated categories and products for you without any documents upfront. It's very helpful for people who do online arbitrage. Why? Because they source products from retailer store, from clearance stores. Like, they have no proper supply chain for Amazon. They have no invoices and authorization letter, and they cannot obtain them because they buy on on sale somewhere on
Right.
Walmart, for example.
Right. They would never be able to get a supply chain or invoice or
Yeah,
factory like clearance because it just doesn't exist. Right. I know I was speaking with a friend that does compliance with Amazon, and he was talking about how essentially the people on the Amazon end right now, it seems like a lot of times they're not even doing their homework to proof that sellers give to them of their supply chain, their suppliers, like their factories, everything. So it seems like Amazon's kind of, yeah, dropping the ball on that one a little bit at the moment. Maybe they're just crushed with Q4 demand. I'm not too sure, but there's a lot to this. I really thought that accounts were pretty much just down to seller feedback and ratings. I didn't know there were so many things having to do with gating and compliance and these things. So thanks for the education. This is great.
one of my customers just started selling on Amazon, doing online arbitrage, and he plus a threshold of $10,000 per month in revenue, and get his account blocked for Section 3. That's it. They ask him to provide his supply chain to prove that he's selling original products, and he didn't manage that because he have no any documents and he has no experience. Maybe if he asks someone to help them, like maybe company who do unban accounts, maybe they can help him, but it's a big problem right now to start. It's difficult to start online arbitrage right now, but if you manage to do that, you have a great opportunity for growing your business, and you finally can start buying wholesale. And we need to speak about that as well. But let me finish about my tool, how it helps. So how Seller Assistant extension helps. It appears on Amazon and allows you to see all the information about products right on Amazon product page. Even you can open Seller Assistant on any website in a side panel and find a product on Amazon, by title, by UPC, by part number, something like that. And you'll be able to calculate the profitability. You will see all the history, price history, competition history of active sellers on the product, list of IP claims, etc. All the information you need to know before you make a purchasing decision, right? And finally, if you decide you go for this product, you can save the information about this product in your Google Sheets in one click, and even add some notes for yourself. So it's very handy tool which saves you a lot of time on manual work.
Perfectly put. Now, let me ask you another question related to that. You mentioned history. It shows you the history, and it shows you things like compliance and gating. How do you have that historical information? Do you guys maintain your own database that has that, or do you use it from a third party? I'm getting a bit technical here, but I'm just curious. How do you know the compliance? How do you know if it's gated?
If you use Seller Assistant, you probably have your Amazon seller account connected to the software, right? If so, we use your seller account to fetch your account related data, which is information if product gate for your account, if this information about your fees. If you go for selling, we have a fees estimate for your. Also, we fetch general information about product in Amazon catalog and sellers and their prices. We fetch it through Amazon API for selling partners. We are selling partner, so we help Amazon sellers to fetch some information for them. But it's not necessary. When we fetch information from Amazon, we have a lack of historical information. So we fetch historical information from Keepa service. They also have an API, and we use it to get some historical data, like reviews count in a point of how reviews grows over time. We fetch average data, average prices, average BSR, etc. All this information is very important to make purchasing decisions.
Cool. That's really encouraging. Yeah, we use Keepa pretty consistently at Pathfinder as a plugin, but also their web interface, which is so powerful. I mean, it looks like it's a bit dated, but it's so powerful. And I know many other tools use Keepa's API. So that's really encouraging to hear. Very cool. Very cool, man. Yeah, they're probably the best source of that kind of data around, aren't they? They're really great for that.
And also we have a tool which it's too integrated into Seller Assistant extension, and also we have a separate extension for that. It's the tool. The name of the tool is AP Alert by Seller Assistant, and it works this way. It fetch all the information from your account health. If you use the tool, it's fetch the information from your account health and upload to our database, anonymize it, and then you open any product on Amazon. You will be able to see all the history of the product or brand. I mean, you will see all account health issues related to the brand or ASIN you open on Amazon, right? It means like if you do online arbitrage, you have no proof of origin of the product, right? If you bought from Walmart, for example. But what you have is a history on the product of claims of brand owner. Some brand owners monitor very hard. They monitor the sellers who sell their products on Amazon. And if they found someone unauthorized to sell their product on Amazon, they open a claim on Amazon, and they say like, for example, they can say that you're a suspicious seller, and you have no any approval for them, and maybe you sell counterfeit product.
Because they're trying to get it taken down, essentially, or at least
Yeah.
control who's selling on it. So this tool, it basically crowdsources that information from all the
True,
different
it's true.
users who are in the tool. It's all combined anonymously in your database, and
Yes.
then it's
And
crowdsourced. Oh, that's really cool.
it works automatically and on everyday basis. We collect this information. For example, there are a few tools on the market which have Google Sheet with a list of brand names, and you never know how the brand names appear in this list, right?
And when it's updated, for that matter.
Yes,
right?
and who is updated and how. And they say like, if you get a complaint from the brand, or upload all the information and to our tool. But if you get a complaint from the Amazon, your account health under risk, your business under risk. What do you do right in this case? You never going to upload.
No, you're not going to be uploading it for fun. You're going to be focused on trying to establish the account, and make sure it doesn't get banned. Yeah.
It's true.
So it's relying on people's activity, which of course they probably won't do. So yours does automatically. That's very cool. I had no idea that exists.
Moreover, we show not only the red flag on the tool, on the product. We explain what happened and why, and what are the enforcements applied by Amazon. For example, listing deactivation or something like that. And you will see the type of issue happened to the product. For example, it could be automated brand protection for if someone use a brand name on the description. For example, you're selling the product on Amazon, and someone changed the description. You never know about that, but someone changed the description and used the iPhone word, for example, and the product listing get banned by Amazon, and all sellers get their listings deactivated, right? And if it happens, you will see in the history. You can avoid such products, or if you wholesaler and you have authorization letter, for example, you can use this information, like you know that your supplier tracking sellers selling that product, and you feel defended by supplier, for example. It depends on your business model.
So let's go into wholesaling. So we got the RA and OA, and then the wholesaling is like the next step on the ladder, isn't it? And this means you have certified relationships with certain companies that are wholesale relationships that you can prove. You probably have documentation, paperwork, and contracts for that, right? And then you're still selling on Amazon. There might be other sellers in the buy box, right? It's not only you on there, but it's a wholesale relationship. And so, how does that look? I mean, do sellers need to load a list of approved wholesalers that they work with into your tool and say, hey, this is a product I'm interested in selling. Does one of my wholesalers have this? And can I, use that relationship to get access to it at a margin that's going to work for me? Is that how it works, or is there some other way?
We have a few tools for wholesalers. First one and most wanted tool is price list analyzer. So if you get a price list from your supplier, it usually contains only UPC codes or EIN codes for Europe. And in this case, you never know, can you sell this product on Amazon or not? So you get this price list. Open Seller Assistant Price List Analyzer tool. Upload your Google spreadsheet into the tool and map some fields. Choose this is UPC code, this is my supplier price, and click Upload button. And to process your file, for example, get 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 products from the list, and it tries to find related product on Amazon by UPC code, for example. And if tool define the product with UPC code, it returns ASIN, and by ASIN we fetch all the information related to the product: title, competition, average data, current data, prices, BSR category, etc. And then these information are populated with our IP alerting tool, with data from Keepa, etc. And we have a big list of products with a supplier ID and Amazon ID. And we pre-calculate your profitability using your settings. Like, for example, you know that you spend $1.50 to buy and ship product to Amazon. We know this data. We know what is the price of the product at the supplier, right? And we know the price on Amazon. And then we calculate the profitability. And finally, you get a list of products. You have a table with information. You can sort it, filter out some products you don't want to see in the list. And also you can get some hints. For example, sometimes supplier have discounts, or sometimes supplier sell product in the boxes and they provide price for box of 10 items. But on Amazon, you have sold separate item, right? And in this
Right, right.
case, you have a big disproportion, like you have a ROI like minus 1,000, for example. And it looks suspicious, and we notice such things for you and say, hey, something wrong with this product. Take a look closely, right? And you're able to open a product on Amazon, check if everything okay, and if you find something wrong, like wrong quantity or something like that, you can adjust it manually and find if it's profitable after that correction, right?
Right.
So
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, there is an element of uploading things manually, but then it sounds like it does a lot of the stuff automatically for you. Actually, after that point, it gives you so much information there that you're then
yeah,
able to take, check for some discrepancies, and see if it works for you. Man, you're getting me excited. I want to try this now.
yeah.
It sounds like a
Also,
lot of fun, actually, some aspects of it.
yeah, but there are a lot of data, and if you
Yeah.
love work with data, it's for you. If not, it's better to find someone who who can handle all these spreadsheets and numbers. Also, we have a Seller Spy feature. Seller Spy is a storefront tracker for your competitors. If you sell products a lot, you probably noticed that the seller names which appears on the product you sell are the same. It means you probably source from the same place they source as well, right? And the best way to find best-selling products is to spy on your competitors. They spend a lot of time looking for a product, and then they upload them to their inventory, and you can notice that and do the same, and with a lack of 2 weeks, for example. It's
Oh, okay. So the idea
yeah,
is not really to compete with them on the same one, it's to look at what else they're selling and then say,
yeah,
"Ooh, I can get into that too," because maybe they've done the work of already identifying a hot niche or a hot place where there's good
yeah.
supplier relationships that can exist. And then, okay,
For
that's very
example, you,
clever.
you can notice that they add specific product to their inventory or even brand, and try to find, for example, you source from this website and they source from this website, supplier, right? And you notice that they start selling new brand. It's time to check your supplier for new brand. Maybe they updated their catalog and you didn't notice that, right? And in this case, you find that, yeah, they have a new brand line in their catalog, and you just go and search them. And if you open your competitor website or storefront, you can find that they sell product for $40, for example. But buy box price is 35. And you see that, and they made a big mistake because for some reason the price went down, and they cannot sell for 35 anymore for some reason. And maybe it's better to avoid such products. But if you see they sell product for 40 and by box price 40, it means you can probably do the same.
Okay, so you're using their actions as an indicator for what you're potentially able to do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Okay, I got a couple more questions. I mean, one of them is, just like thinking about the future of these different business models and everything. What's the future of retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale in 2025? We're at the end of the year here. We're thinking about planning for next year, and I sometimes hear people say like, "Oh, Amazon FBA is dead, and everyone's going to switch back to Shopify now. The margins are not good anymore. The fees are too much. The PPC is too expensive." But then I look at all the customers that we have, and a lot of them are doing quite well, and they're growing year over year, and their margins are still pretty good. So, what's the future of these business models in 2025? What are some of the rules, regulations, changes that are going to impact your customers that you talk to frequently?
Yeah, what I found is, like, if you open Google Trends and Google for Amazon FBA keyword, you may notice that the trend is behind. Like, I mean, the peak of the trend is behind, few years behind, right? And now it's going a little bit slow. It's slowing, and it means that there are today less people trying to start comparing, a few years ago, for example. But in other hand, we have big opportunities for people who decided to start and who are already in the business because the competition is going down as well. And what I noticed, like I have a tool which is used worldwide, and I noticed that we have spikes, like peaks on the graph of registration from different countries. For example, this year we have a lot of customers from this country, and then next year from this country, and next year from this country.
Oh,
So
can you give some examples? Now we're really curious. So how
yeah,
about, the US? Do you have a big spike in the US this year, or is it
no,
like France
US
that
is
has a big spike?
US is consistent. But
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the world is trying something new. And a lot of people from countries abroad heard something about Amazon, and maybe someone start teaching how to sell on Amazon. And we have a lot of registration from these countries. But the problem is people think like Amazon is like a side hustle or a money button. Amazon is not money button. And the trend today, Amazon tried to change this mindset, and they allow people who think about Amazon as a full-time business. It's like a business with the risks, with a specific approach. And the problem that Amazon in Europe became so difficult. The barrier to start selling Amazon is so high. You need to have a company, you need to get VAT registered, you need to have a physical presence in the country you're going to sell, and a lot of extra, registration, like packaging in Germany, like waste numbers, etc.
Yeah, compliance,
Yeah,
registration,
compliance,
tax,
compliance,
all these
compliance.
things in Europe are extra,
Um,
next level.
in
Absolutely.
the United States, Amazon tried to clear out all counterfeit products. For example, there are a lot of people who buy counterfeit products in China and sell them under brands in the United States, and it's not going to work anymore because it's illegal practice. And that's why Amazon block a lot of people who try to do online arbitrage. They ask to provide supply chain to make sure that everything okay with that seller. So
Right.
that's why to start online arbitrage is very difficult right now. But if you manage to do that, if you find how it works, you have unlimited potential for growing your business. And the next problem you facing is not sourcing, not getting started. It's like financing your business. And private label is high margin business, but turnover in a private label is like you spend 6 months to get your money back, right? But in wholesaling online arbitrage, you can turn over your money in 1.5 months or maybe 2 months. It's much faster money, but margins a little bit lower than in private label. But what you can do, you can negotiate your payment terms from your supplier, for example. You can ask them to get the product and pay in 30 days, in 60 days, term 6, term 45, for example. And it will like free money for you. Get
Once
it
you have a
from
trusting
your supplier.
relationship with a
Yeah,
supplier, you can ask for those kind of terms, can you? Just in the same way
yes,
that a lot of our clients doing private label will try to get, you know,
yeah.
terms pushed out as far as they can for payment, so they're effectively not, having to deal with the debt or not having to deal with the massive amount of cash outlay. So interesting to hear that the cash flow cycle, there's probably a technical term for that, is so much shorter. And the competition part, I knew that Amazon's always trying to crack down on counterfeits, like that's something they're very vocal about. But I didn't know in particular that means for the wholesale area, even though it's harder to get in, once you do, there's a lot less competition and other people, in that same space, let's say. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and if you manage to find your supplier, doing wholesale supplier, and start sourcing from them, it's very good if you manage to do that. Why? Because to start a relationship with new supplier is very hard right now, and it works that way. For example, just imagine a supplier, a regular supplier who sell products to Amazon sellers, and the supplier have 10 sellers on Amazon, for example. Each one sell 100 products per month, 1,000 products in total, right? And
Yeah.
you come to supplier and say, okay, I'm going to sell on Amazon. Please give me your price list, right? So what does it mean for your supplier? It means that plus 10% of work because you get 11th seller, right? And minus 10% of average check. They don't
They'd be
bother.
much more interested in selling all 1,000 units to one company if they could, instead of selling 100 to 10 different ones, wouldn't they?
In this case, you don't bring them any benefits. Now sellers come and say, we have a great experience. We can run ads. We can improve your product listing on Amazon. If we start work with us, we can raise sales from 1,000 per month to 1,500, for example, and it's win-win for us. This is how people try to negotiate.
Growing the overall pie and
yeah.
being smarter about it than just saying,
Yeah.
we're another wholesaler that's going to buy from you. That doesn't have any additional value add.
Yeah, and sometimes suppliers open slots. For example, someone of their sellers just went out of business, or they decided to switch category, for example, or something like that, and they have an open slot for one more seller. So one of my customer and my friend, a whole team who sent a lot of emails and made a lot of calls to open suppliers to negotiate with them to get the very first price list from them, and they managed to get 500 suppliers opened. Like they call that open. That means they negotiate, they get the price list from them, and the supplier needed to work with them. So they open about 500 suppliers per last year. And if you have a lot of suppliers, it doesn't mean you need to buy from them. You need to choose the best one suitable for you, right? With the best terms. And if supplier decline the offer, for example, they usually ask to, you want to buy something fast moving, but they also ask you to buy extra dead products to,
Right, they have their own margins and their own things they want to keep moving off the shelf as well, right? So you're like doing them a favor if you're doing that, but at the same time, you don't necessarily want that dead stock, do you?
Yeah, it's better to set up your team who will negotiate, who will open suppliers for you, right? And if you have a list to choose from, you have a good, negotiation position as well.
Cool. So really, it's doing it at scale that can make it feasible too. But that sounds like a whole bunch of systems, processes, and teams to hire for that. Very exciting. There's a lot going on there. So my last question, Oleg, is let's rewind the clock a little bit. I think Seller Assistant's been around for 5+ years, right? It's a pretty good time to have a great software business and all these different customers and everything. Can you take us back a little bit to the beginning? Like, how did you start working on this problem specifically? How did you first get aware of it? And maybe give us some stats, if you're willing, about the current state of the business, like how many customers you have, what your team looks like and everything, and what you're going to do in the next year. What are you excited about?
I started selling on Amazon in 2016, and I feel like money button. Like, you bring products to Amazon and get the money back. So it works that way for me. But my big mistake was I not considered like a full-time job. I cannot believe that it was so easy. And for me, business was like a lot of papers, regulations, etc. But Amazon was like a magic. So I not considered it in serious, right? And it was my big mistake. And in 2019, I tried online arbitrage and found that there are a lot of product research, numbers, spreadsheets, new tabs in your browser. And I had a big problem. For example, if I open a product, I was need to assess it if it fit for me or not. And to assess the product, I need to check if I can sell it, if it's profitable, what is the competition, what is the profitability, etc. And I opened a lot of tabs to do that. And finally, when I try to decide if this product is a good fit for me, I need to open one more tab with Google Sheets and copy all the data to the columns, right? And it was a completely different task. For example, first one you analyze it, and second one you just copy in that data, and that's it. And I found if I in the flow, I can say this product good, this one good for me, and I forgot to save them, or I save only ASINs without any information, without any comments for myself in the future. And a few days later, when I tried to buy product, it was a mess.
Right. You're like, I don't remember anything from this. I don't know details.
Yes,
it's just an ASIN and some numbers, right? So a big set of pain points for you basically doing this.
And
2019.
I'm very tired from that, and decided to have a rest. And the best rest is to switch your activity. And I just Google how to create a Chrome extension and spend a weekend trying to build something for Chrome, and find myself a few months later on my very first presentation to the local community where I was part of, and it was appreciated. I get my very first customers. And few years after I hired my very first employee, and
Mhm.
now we have a lot of people working for Seller System. Seller System. I guess it's like about 15 people working for Seller System right now.
Mostly development and customer support, those kind
No,
of roles.
we have a development team and marketing team.
Marketing team. Okay. Very cool, man. What a great story. And it's far more than just a Chrome plugin, right? It's a whole web interface. I also noticed you have a Microsoft Edge plugin, which I wrote down because I just remember thinking, first of all, who uses Microsoft Edge? And second of all, I didn't know they even had a plugin ecosystem. That's great. So good
Yeah.
job being found even on Microsoft Edge. Although I think most users are probably on Chrome, aren't they?
Yeah, at this
That's the
point,
one.
we have Seller Assistant extension, which is for online arbitrage, wholesale, dropshippers, and even private labels who just need to check information quickly about the product. We have IP Alert by Seller Assistant extension, which is standalone IP alerting feature. It's a part of Seller Assistant extension, but if you need to standalone extension, you can use it as
Oh,
well.
it's standalone as well. Okay. Okay. So how
Yes,
many extensions are there in total, actually? Like 4 or
yeah,
5?
I think 3 extensions at this point. And
3 extensions. Okay.
yeah, and we have a VPN by Seller Assistant.
I saw that.
Yeah, VPN can be used for accessing websites outside the United States. For example, if you're outside the United States, or you have employees, virtual assistant outside the United States who need to open website in the United States, but in the United States, a lot of websites have geo restrictions. They don't sell abroad, and for example, the Home Depot is not open outside the United States, so you need somehow to access that. Target is not open outside the United States, and that's where VPN by Seller Assistant can help you. You just install, connect to the United States, and now you have United States.
Got it. Okay, thanks for the rundown. Anything else we missed or didn't talk about? I think we've covered a lot of good ground here. I've learned a ton. I think the audience is going to learn a ton, especially about these business models and the details of the technical aspects. It's a lot of nerds watching this show, I think. So yeah, they'll enjoy that. Anything we've missed?
I think we need to say, if you think about start selling on Amazon, it's time. Kind of difficult to start because you need to have a company, you need invest your money in a software and sourcing, but it means that the competition is less right now, and there are a lot of tools like Seller Assistant, and there are a lot of great different tools which can help you automate your business. And Amazon Business is most easiest business which can be automated. You don't think about fulfillment of your product, you just sort them and build relationship with your suppliers, inventory analyzing, and manage your cash flow. All processes automated by Amazon, which is great. So just focus on your internal processes and outsource that to Amazon, and you'll get succeed.
Good message. And also, one thing I'll mention from my advertising perspective is, of course, you don't need to do nearly as much, if any, advertising for a lot of these products either. So that definitely helps with margin and complexity and everything else. Cool. So Oleg, where do you want people to go to learn more about Seller Assistant? Where's the best place to find you?
Open sellerassistant.app, and you'll find the app. If you want to learn more about selling on Amazon, we have a great blog at our website. Just go to Google for something, and if you find article about Seller Assistant, you can jump in and read it. And also we have online arbitrage checklist. Just Google for it, online arbitrage checklist by Seller Assistant, and selling guide as well. You can find it on our website in the resource section.
Great. I'll put links to all that stuff on the show notes too. So don't worry, anyone watching this can find that stuff.
Follow the link in the description, and following this link, you will get a 10% discount.
Perfect. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Have a good day.